Good morning. Welcome to SSUC, to Southminster Steinhauer United Church. We are spiritual seekers united in community, and we offer the warmest welcome to those of you who join us for the first time or the first time in a while. For those who join us online via our live stream or our website, and those of us who hold the circle week by week, we welcome each and every one of you. We are a place of spiritual exploration and a community that seeks to be as diverse as possible, where you are welcome, whether regardless of who you are and where you've been and how your week has been and what life is like for you. All sizes, all ages, all cultures, as we are known to say. All sexualities, all gender expressions, all religions or traditions are welcome. And so welcome to this circle where we're invited to open ourselves to compassion and deep wisdom, knowing that we're each important, that we're each valued, that we're each able to live deeply and make a difference in our living and in the world. On this Sunday, we light this candle as we do each week, and today we do it in our gathering to honor Earth Day. A few days ago, but we have the opportunity to continue to celebrate spring with the Earth's awakening and a few surprises thrown in along the way. We gather to honor that our environment, our planet, our land is our partner in this life, that the health of one determines the health of us all. And we honor and give gratitude for our relationship with the earth and all her creatures. And today it allows us to place into context our honoring the land and this specific piece of land that we now sit upon. That SSUC is situated on the ancestral land of the Cree people of Treaty 6, and for that we're grateful. That we're here in the southwest corner of Edmonton on the ancestral lands of the Papas Chase First Nation, and for that we're grateful. That we're here in central Alberta, the land of our Métis brothers and sisters, of which we're grateful. And we're here in the city and in neighborhoods on which our ancestors chose to settle, or we ourselves have made a home. And we're grateful for this too. This is a place where we honor what has come before, live in the opportunities of the present, and work daily toward a future of reconciliation and partnership. So why not celebrate in our gratitude for this great home that we have and sing a song of praise for the sacred?
The great wells
We're privileged this morning to have with us someone that we know and have been growing to know better over the last couple of years. Carola Cunningham comes to us from Niiganan Housing Ventures, who run the Ambrose Place building downtown. And as we have supported their ongoing work, it's a pleasure to have Carola here to share an update and to reinforce those connections we have with Niiganan and with Ambrose Place. Thank you, Carola.
Tanse toya, mianak go gishigo squeos, masichomushum. I said, hi, how are you? It's been a long time since I've seen you. I think the last time I was out in a tent talking about women going fasting on the land. I also acknowledged Creator and our ancestors from the four directions. I want to say that it feels like I'm starting to get to know you well, because I recognize people that I spoke at their house, and Linda and Fabian, who are constant supporters of Ambrose, that come and share with us when they can. Fabian's always shooting me emails about something. And Murray and Madeline, who Murray worked alongside of me at Blue Quills and then at Ambrose for a year on a contract. So I'm glad to see that I'm making friends with you, because your help has helped us. And I never know what I should share with you. I don't know whether I should share the stories of amazing recovery, of people's lives, of being able to decolonize our people and allowing them to reintegrate back into ceremony, into their nation, and with their families. And some of the people that we've housed have been homeless for over 40 years. And I find it so amazing that the first people of this land have such a hard time being housed. I think, in my mind, it's an inherent right to be housed in your own land. And so Niiganan tries to do that. And right now we're on a huge incline of growth. We're looking at buying a hotel to help transition people into housing, because we find that it takes 3 months for a person to sort of shake off the street and think about living collectively with other people. We're also in partnership with Right at Home Society, who I'm sure some of you know, Cam McDonald. And we're halfway built at Belvedere, so that's another 42 apartment that will be not such a high level of acuity as Ambrose Place. It's more for people that need wraparound supports and queuing, but they don't need the medical phys needs that we support people with at Ambrose. We also receive money from the provincial government to start another build for Ambrose too, which is awesome, because after 4 months of being open, my wait list was over 500 people. So there's a lot of people that need help up there. There's a lot of people that need to be housed. And I think what makes Ambrose different is that we house primarily Indigenous people. And we do it differently than other housing agencies, in that we're very directed by the tenants on what they want. And no one's pressured into doing anything. We support people where they're at. And I believe by offering opportunities to do things, it allows people to start to make decisions on their own and to make a decision on how they want to live the rest of their life. Ambrose is in their 5th year, and over the 5 years, I can say that we've helped 17 human beings pass over to the other side with dignity. And that's huge, because I know that a lot of these people would have died on the street, on cement, without any supports. And now they die with us, and we go through how they want to die. And so I've had a fellow that wanted to die with a beer in his hand, and we were swabbing his mouth with alcohol as he went out. And then I have others that want to be sung traditionally out and buried traditionally, which we've done. One of our long-term tenants, Harriet, we brought her home, we did her service, we buried her, and it was so nice because the family allowed us to do that with them. So we do much more than housing, and your contribution helps us do things that the government doesn't fund us to do. So we make ribbon skirts, and the girls have been making a lot of ribbon skirts lately. So it buys materials and ribbons. It allows us to take people to the land. So for our people, in our creation story, similar to Christian's story, Creator gathered all the medicines, all the trees, all the rocks, all the dirt, and everything, and blew life into us. And so we understand as human beings, as two-legged, we come directly from the earth. And when we take our people back to the earth, you can see how alive they become. Because everything out on the earth is our pharmacy. Every one of my organs was made by the earth. And so I know if I want to get well, I need to go to the earth and find the medicine that will treat whatever's wrong with me. And so when we are able to take people to the land for a couple of days to go camping or to go to ceremony or to go boating, they come alive. And your contribution allows us to do that, to get a car, to get them in it, to go camping, to buy the food that we need for the camping trips, to allow us to go to ceremony, for them to buy tobacco and prints to offer in ceremony. And so I can't thank you enough for all your help. We're also looking at building a family housing unit. So our numbers in child welfare, 93% of the children in care are Indigenous. So I don't think we're doing too good in that department. And I believe that if Indigenous people are given the right to offer a service to families at risk with the harm reduction philosophy, I have a chance of helping those children's children never be in care. So that's my legacy I hope to leave, is to actually create that home for families. So I'll just tell you one story about one individual that I've seen a huge change in. And I don't know if I ever told this story before here, but it's a powerful story because it talks about reconciliation, making amends, and telling people how much you love them. And so we had a woman that was given to us the first 3 months we were open, and she was given 3 months to live. And so one of the things I wanted to find out from her was, is there something you want to do? Is there somebody you want to talk to? Is there something you need to do before you pass on? And she said, I have 9 children in care. I've never given them up for adoption. They've always been in care. But I want to tell them that I'm sorry, that it's not their fault, and that I love them. And if you have ever experienced children that have been taken away from their own maternal and paternal families, for those 3 sentences to be heard from a mother to their child is powerful. And when she was able to do that, and so we were able to contact her children through Skype, through letters, and have them come, some of them come face to face. And when she was able to say those things, it really shifted her. She's still alive, So we're 5 years now since the time she was placed with us. So there's really something powerful in people being able to make amends and say, I love you. And I think Ambrose is built on those foundations of our natural laws, which are kindness, honesty, sharing, and strength. And when we try to govern that way and govern ourselves that way, you can't help but spread love. And I think that's the key to our success. And I would encourage any of you, if you have an interest, to come and see our place or have a morning smudge with us or attend any of our ceremonies. You're most welcome to come. We're very inclusive. Our medicine wheel is all about those 4 races of man. So thank you for your support and come and visit us. Thank you.
Our time for all ages is here. It's a time for a story. Hello. Anyone's welcome to the carpet. First of all, I want to show you something in this little bowl. Can everyone see this? Do you know what it is? What do you think? Do you have a guess?
Seeds.
You're right, it's seeds. Oh. These are the smallest seeds I could find. They're so tiny. Even just one of those will grow into a plant that will grow and make flowers and leaves.
Sunflower.
Well, these aren't sunflower seeds. These are tiny, tiny, tiny seeds. And it's amazing to me that something so tiny can grow into something so beautiful. That it's all right there in that seed. It's so amazing. I want to read to you a story that you may know because it's by Eric Carle, and everyone knows Eric Carle. This is a book called The Tiny Seed. It's not Eric Carle's most famous book, but it is pretty neat. So here it is. It's autumn. A strong wind is blowing. It blows flower seeds high in the air and carries them far across the land. One of the seeds is tiny, smaller than any of the others. Will it be able to keep up with the other seeds? And where are they all going? One of the seeds flies higher than the others. Up.
Lighter.
Oh, very smart. It is lighter. I can't get my page to turn. Now it turned 5 times. Okay. Up, up, up the seed goes, too high. But the seed sails on, the tiny seed sails on with the others. Another seed lands on a tall and icy mountain. The ice never melts up there.
I see it.
Yeah. And the seed can't grow on the icy mountain. The rest of the seeds fly on, but the tiny seed does not go as fast as the others. Now they fly over the ocean. One seed falls into the water and drowns. Oh no! The others sail on with the wind, but the tiny seed does not go as high as the others. One seed drifts down onto the desert. It's hot and dry, and the seed can't grow there. Now the seed is flying very low, but the wind pushes it on with the others. Finally, the wind stops, and the seeds fall gently down on the ground. A bird comes by and eats one seed, but our tiny seed is not eaten. Maybe it's so small that the bird doesn't see it.
I see it.
Oh, yes, you've got good eyes. Now, okay, it's winter. After their long trip, the seeds settle down. They look just as if they are going to sleep in the earth. Snow falls and covers them like a soft white blanket. A hungry mouse, I don't know if you can see it down there,
I can see it.
also lives in the ground and eats a seed for his lunch. But the tiny seed lies very still and the mouse doesn't see it.
Because it's too small.
Mhm.
And
Oh, now it's spring. After a few months, the snow has melted. It is really spring. Birds fly by, the sun shines, rain falls. The seeds grow so round and full they start to burst open like little... No, I read that wrong. That was going to be exciting, but I don't know what Eric Carle is trying to do. They start to burst open. That's all he said. Okay, they start to burst open. Now they are not seeds anymore. They are plants. First, they send roots down into the earth. Then their little stems and leaves begin to grow up toward the sun and the air. There's another little plant. Let's see if you can see this. There's another little plant that grows much faster than the new plants. It's a big fat weed. And it takes all the sunlight and the rain away from one of the small new little plants. And that little plant can't make it. Do you see it hiding under there? The tiny seed hasn't begun to grow yet. It will be too late. Hurry. But finally, it starts to grow into a plant too. Now, the warm weather also brings the children out to play. They have been waiting for the sun too. One child doesn't see the plants as she runs along and, uh-oh! One gets broken. Now it can't grow anymore. The tiny plant, though, that grew from our tiny seed is growing fast. But its neighbor is growing even faster. Before the tiny plant has 3 leaves, the other plant has 7. And look, a bud, and now even a flower. But what's happening? First there are footsteps, then a shadow, then a hand. It reaches down, it's the first flower, and it gets picked. A boy has picked the flower to give to his friend. How nice. It's summertime. Now the tiny plant from the tiny seed is all alone. It grows on and on. I know. It's huge. The sun shines on it and the rain waters it. It has many leaves, taller and taller and taller, and now a flower grows on it, and people come from far and near to look at this flower. It's the tallest thing they've ever seen. All summer long, the birds and bees and butterflies come visiting. They've never seen such a big and beautiful flower.
I think everybody can see it.
Everyone can see this flower. Now, okay, it's autumn again. We've gone a whole year, and the days grow shorter, the nights grow colder, the wind carries yellow and red leaves past the flower. Some petals drop from the giant flower, and they sail along with the bright leaves over the land and down to the ground. And the wind blows even harder now. And look, this flower has lost almost all its petals. It sways and bends away from the wind, but the wind grows stronger and shakes the flower. Once more the wind shakes it, and this time the flower's seed pod opens, and out come many tiny seeds that quickly sail far away on the wind.
It's making more of those flowers.
Oh yes, it's making more, and then it can happen all again. Thank you, Eric Carl, for your tiny seed story. I just wanted to share that because it's a fun way to think about how a seed goes all year long and grows and has so many challenges. There are so many things that could make a seed not grow. The wrong temperature, the wrong place it lands,
Or it might just
some weeds, some get snapped off. It might get choked out, but the ones that grow are amazing. And it's wonderful that we can look at the flowers.
let this book because it's from spring.
It's spring, and and we're celebrating that whenever we see a flower or a plant, just how amazing it is. So when you see a flower outside that peeks through, I saw a flower yesterday that had snow on it, but it was saying, I'm going to grow anyway. I'm going to stay through this snow because the snow is going to go away and I'm still going to be here. And it was a lovely yellow daffodil, and it was under the snow, but it's wonderful to look at those flowers and to say, look how amazing this earth is.
I saw a flower at my school once.
Yes.
So that dandelion.
Oh yeah, dandelions are flowers too. Absolutely. So, next time you see a flower, I want you to remember the tiny seed and how amazing it is that a seed can turn into a beautiful flower. And just say thank you to that flower and thank you to the earth. It's an amazing thing. So it's time. If you would like to go to Kids Spirit, our leaders are ready. If you are...
If you open your Bible right in the middle, you'll come to the Psalms. So this is from Psalm 95. Oh, come and climb to the top of the rock. Stand on top and stretch your arms out to the sky. Reach out to the holiness that wraps its breath around you. In grateful silence, soak up the shining light of life. From ocean abyss to mountain pinnacle, from polar ice field to tropical rainforest, astonishment resides in every subtle link of life. Oh, come and bow your head before the wonder of it all. Feel the strength of the rock rise through your feet. We are not alone. Lichens and trees, ants and people, all together in nature's hands. Do not isolate yourself from any of it. Do not consider your concerns first. You will cut yourself off from the reverence of life and think yourself invincible. Your struggles will lead you further away to sink deeper into a morass of your own making. Return to the land and sea. Return to the marvels of mountain and valley. There, you will know the awe of peace and understanding. This is wisdom inspired by the Hebrew songs and prayers compiled in the last few centuries before the Common Era. May we find wisdom.
The contented fisherman. The rich industrialist from the north was horrified to find the southern fisherman lying lazily beside his boat, smoking a pipe. "Why aren't you out fishing?" said the industrialist. "Because I've caught enough fish for the day," said the fisherman. "Why don't you catch some more?" "Well, what would I do with them?" "You could earn more money," was the reply. "With that, you could have a motor fixed to your boat and go into deeper waters and catch more fish. Then you'd make enough to buy nylon nets. Those would bring you more fish and more money, and soon you'd have enough money for 2 boats, maybe a fleet of boats, and then you'd be a rich man." "What would I do then?" said the fisherman. "Well, then you could really enjoy life." The fisherman replied, "My way is easier. I'm doing that right now." This is a folk tale as told by Anthony de Mello. May we find wisdom for our living. Awe and wonder and connection, these moments of inspiration, if it's looking at a flower or contemplating a seed or being amazed at our connection with the earth, with beauty, with majesty, with our grand and minute relationship with this planet. It's good to take pause every now and then and just recognize that relationship. Our modern mindset has it backwards, much like the northern person in this folk tale. We don't really have to work 11 months of the year to afford and to enjoy 1 month of getting in that awe and wonder time. As if it only exists if we can afford to go somewhere exotic. We have been told, I don't know how, but in so many ways, where are you going on vacation? What will you go see? And there's a certain joy, and there's a wonderful aspect of seeing a part of the world we've never seen. But I think we have heard that message so long that we've come to the place where we think we have to get away. We have to go somewhere in order to enjoy and to relax and enjoy life. What if part of our everyday spiritual practice was having one majestic, tiny, beautiful moment with nature? If only we weren't so tempted to catch more fish that we could use better nets and then more boats and then finally enjoy life. Catching enough fish for the day is all that's needed. And you know, just saying that sentence makes me feel like that's an antiquated thought. I wonder if it is. Oh, just having enough for today is all we need. Maybe it worked 2,000 years ago when these stories were being told around a campfire. I don't know. Enough for today. Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about the bills, the savings account, the RRSPs, you name it. That seems like a naive approach to just think about what I need today and not bother with tomorrow. It's not as if our lives are much different, really, from then. No work, no money, no stockpiles are needed to connect with what ultimately matters. I think that's the point being made here. That we don't buy our way to meaning. And we don't fly our way there either. Having love in our life to appreciate and connect with the people we care about, doing things that bring meaning to our living, and recognizing and caring for the planet that gives us everything we have. Maybe that's what ultimately matters. The spiritual life is an invitation to those moments. We know that. The spiritual life is about contemplating what really matters, what really makes a difference to us and to others. And so if the spiritual life is about that, then it's always inviting us into moments, small or large. Do you ever notice what language we use when we glimpse those amazing, awe-inspiring vistas? If we happen to see a beautiful sunrise or an animal we don't usually encounter. I've used a few of those words today already: awesome, wonder, inspired. We could use the more religious word. We could say hallelujah, which means praise. We could say, oh, praise be. We could say that, but then we think of that word set to music, and then we get sidetracked by Christmas tickets and all that kind of stuff. But so maybe the word amen is better. It's an affirmation. Saying amen is kind of like saying right on, or yes, this is it, that's right. But then it feels like we're in church or we're ending our prayer instead of beginning it. So maybe that's not the best word either. My point is, maybe more than any other, there's a primal word that appears every once in a while that we tend to overlook. And it's the one up here right now. It's one letter only. Sometimes two if you put an H after it, but it's O. The shortest of words turns out to be one of the most amazing. As Brian McLaren writes, O erupts from within us almost involuntarily and uncontrollably, expressing our reaction to almost every deep and powerful emotion. Think about this. It may be the awe that you experience in the presence of beauty. Oh, look at that. It may be relief in the presence of comfort. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. It may be gratitude in the presence of generosity. Oh, what a kind gift. It may be surprise. Oh, I didn't realize you were standing there. It may be agony that reaches out for empathy. Oh, my head is pounding. Or, oh, my heart breaks. Could it be this word, embodied by a circle, has the power that circles do to unite us, to unite the cultured, socialized, mind-centric, word, verbose kind of people that we are, and our way to think ourselves to death. Maybe it gives us this ability to just express what's really deep inside us in so many ways. When we don't know quite what word we might use, "Oh" comes out. And I wonder if this little letter reminds us of our connection and our need for both our words and our real, raw reactions and emotions. Beyond our descriptions, beyond the feelings, towards the wonder, the beyondness, towards the moreness that lies within us. That's a word of jubilation and celebration. And, you know, it's a word that appears in so many prayers and songs of praise to the land throughout many religious traditions, but particularly ours. If you read the Psalms, those are a bunch of songs and prayers. "Oh" starts a lot of them. It expresses the human spirit. It's the word that begins the ancient psalm, and its paraphrase that we heard as wisdom today. It marks from the very first syllable. What it does is it says, from the very start, it says, this is about some kind of emotion. This is about praise, about tuning into something, about connecting us again to what's important. "Oh, come and climb up to the top of the rock. Stand on top and stretch your arms out to the sky. Return to the land and sea. Return to the marvels of mountain and valley." When was the last time that we held our arms out to the sky? I don't remember my own self. When was the last time we felt the strength of the rock rise from our feet? When was the last time we proclaimed "Oh" and bowed our head to the wonder of it all? That's beyond any one religion. It's beyond one tradition. It is universal. Our connection to nature, the truth that astonishment resides in every subtle link of life. And this experience and the expression of our reaction to that, this is our first and our primary testament. No matter what religion, spirituality, or tradition we come from, this is our first and primary wisdom. From it, we read the tiny and the grand lessons for living. In our relationship to it, we learn gratitude, we learn about dying, we learn about living. We learn about perseverance and courage. We learn about compassion. We learn about the seasons of life. So it's this, our oldest and best teacher, that we'll be focusing on for our month of Sundays coming up in May. We are an Earth Charter community, and we'll spend a week exploring what that means. We'll spend 4 weeks, actually, exploring what that means to us as a community in 2019. Each of the next 4 weeks focusing on one of the 4 Earth Charter principles. It was one thing to commit to that as a community many years ago. It's another thing to know and to explore what it might mean for us now. How might we live into our commitments to the earth as the earth has committed to us? So we begin this spring journey with reconnecting. Could we take a moment this week, in fact, could we take 7 moments this week to stand in awe of something in the natural world? Could we feel the rock beneath our feet? Could we feel the air on our face, the water between our toes, or the feel of lichens on trees, the buzz of returning insects to our gardens? Whatever it is, could we, over the course of the next week, the course of the next month, as we explore these times, could we start with engaging our first and primary witness and wisdom? and have a moment every day with it. Let's open our living and our daily experience to our greatest inspiration. And may we find an inner jubilation through it all. May we find something in it that's worthy of an O. However that O comes out of you. May it come out in every sentence as a response to our tiny moments with our first and best wisdom. May it be so for us in so many ways this week.
Say
We close our time today with some prayers for the earth and each other, and I invite you to speak those words. We join with the earth and with each other after each of my phrases. So we pray to bring new life to the land, to restore the waters, to refresh the air. We join with the earth and with each other. To renew the forests, to care for the plants, to protect the creatures. We join with the earth and with each other. To celebrate the seas, to rejoice in the sunlight, to sing the song of the stars. We join with the earth and with each other. To recall our destiny, to renew our spirits, to reinvigorate our bodies. We join with the earth and with each other. To use resources wisely, to balance life's systems, to honor the land and her people. We join with the earth and with each other. To build compassionate human community, to heal others and ourselves, to promote justice and peace. We join with the earth and with each other. To remember our ancestors, to plan for our children. We join with the earth and with each other.